Welcome to the Rotary Club of Arlington on our 75th anniversary dinner.
This is actually the first official appearance that I'm making as Miss Texas, so this is a very exciting moment for me. And how fitting that it would be in Arlington. I'd like to tell you just a little bit about the history that I have with the Rotary Club. And I was fortunate enough 2 summers ago to go to Camp Ryla. I was Miss Dallas, and I spent the entire week at Camp Ryla under the leadership of Dana Mackison. And when I tell you that it was a life-altering experience, I mean that very sincerely. It was. I approached that chance to go to that camp as, what am I going to be able to share with these young people? And it was, the camp is about leadership. And I thought and planned about what I could give to them, and I never really dreamed that I would learn so much from those young people who so inspired me and who were so impressive. So that's my connection with Rotary. And I'm so honored to be here in the presence of all of you who do so much for the community, and that is really what my year as Miss Texas will be about. I will travel the state. I think last year's Miss Texas put about 40,000 miles on her brand new Chevy Blazer, which decreases the value a little bit, but I say who cares. So if I do not become Miss America, then I'll spend the next year promoting my platform issue, which, as you just heard, is really about a community-based effort to help young people lead safe, healthy, and productive lives. It's a platform issue that I developed very naturally because I feel so passionately about it, because I feel like I am a walking example of just how effective it can be. I feel very fortunate my parents are still together and were always a good source of strength for me. I had an extended family who was above and beyond the call of duty when those familial duties are concerned. And then beyond that, I had a community that really cared about what was going on in my life, teachers and coaches and dance teachers, a lot of people who I thought at the time were being a little bit nosy and seemed to always be in my business. But as an adult now, I look back and I'm really thankful that they were there to watch over me. And so that's what I'll spend my entire year doing. Miss Texas works with the Texas Cares for Children program, and that's a program that was established about 5 years ago where different school districts from around the state will bring me in to have a chance to talk to young people and give them a little bit of a motivational speech about developing a strong work ethic and accepting responsibility and really setting high dreams and then going after them. And what I share with those kids is sort of my quest for becoming Miss Texas. If any of you read any of the reports in the newspapers, I didn't win Miss Texas very quickly at all. I competed a lot. 6 times, who's counting, but 6 times to be exact. There were a few years when I went really completely unprepared and battled a pretty serious weight problem. And I tell you that not as you're eating your raspberry pie, which I have not touched yet. I tell you that because for me, I do understand that it's a personal thing, but we all have those kinds of challenges that we have to overcome. And that was the one for me. And, it took me 6 years and a lot of lessons, but I finally realized my dream. And so I know that all students won't want to be Miss Texas or Miss America, but that is a lesson that certainly applies to their life, and that is that things in this life that are really worth having very rarely come quickly, and they very rarely come easily, but they do come if you persist. And so that's my message to them. I do not want to take much of your time. I'm so honored to be in the presence of Mr. Lacey. This is very inspiring for me, and the chance to come and talk with you about my platform issue is such good preparation for me as I head to Miss America. Miss America, that sounds, I'll say it again, Miss America. I leave on September the 3rd, and so I'm inviting all of you to tune in on September the 19th on ABC to see if we might just have a Miss America. I'll be real pleased with the top 10. So just know if I give you that obligatory thank you, if they call me a runner-up, I really will be happy with that. Thank you for having me today. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for all the children that you help. Especially thank you for the kids that you help at Webb Elementary, which I've been fortunate enough to substitute at that school a few times this year. And they need all this help, and you are to be commended for your efforts. Thank you for having me here. You inspire me, and Thanks for having me.
Would you stand for the invocation and the pledge to follow? You know, I've followed some pretty tough acts before in my life, but I think Lana Wolf, who I think put the order of the program together, her review comes up next week, so we'll be talking about this. Will you join me for our prayer? Loving Father, anniversary celebrations symbolize dedicated service, hard work, and outstanding achievement. And tonight we take pride in recognizing the Rotary Club of Arlington, which for 75 years has gone above and beyond what is expected of business and civic leaders to benefit this city and indeed this world. For all the members, both past and present, we are indeed grateful. For the countless numbers of people who have given of themselves quietly and generously, and for the exceptional leadership which this club has enjoyed. May the accomplishments of this club and its members for 3/4 of a century spur us on to meet new challenges and opportunities in the years ahead, so that not only will others be proud of us, but we will be proud of ourselves. Bless us now in this time of celebration. We each pray to you by the name we know you. I offer my prayer in the name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. Will you join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
I'd like to make some introductions this evening. I'd begin with the head table, and I'll start over on my right and your left. And we have distinguished and honorable Mayor Elsie Odom and Mrs. Odom. Would you please stand and be recognized, Mayor Odom and Mrs. Odom? And then who will be introduced more completely and fully in just a few moments. But Jim, Rotary International President Jim, and Claudine Lacey, would you please stand? And then our club president and his wife, Wally and Evelyn Burnt, would you please stand? Be recognized. And then on my far left and your right, we'll start with District Governor Sid and Joanna Pruitt. Would you please stand? And next is Rotary International Director for our zone, Ron and Jetta Burton. Would you please stand? The person who keeps me straight most of the time, or at least she certainly tries, and she has a challenge, and that's my wife, Carolyn.
This weather is hot, and it reminds me of an experience years ago when I was pastoring in Italy, Texas, a little town south of Waxahachie. And they met me on the street one day and said, "Preacher, can't you do something about this heat? We need rain." And I said, "Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm in sales, not management."
That's good.
That's a little hard for preachers to keep straight sometimes, but when we do better. I owe the text that I'm about to share with you primarily to George Hawkes, who is a wonderful Rotarian and a great friend of us all. These have been wonderful 75 years. On June 11th, 1923, our club was officially chartered. It was made up of a nucleus of men who were professors at the North Texas Agricultural College, NTAC, and a group of local businessmen who met informally and called themselves the Philosophical Club. I don't know whether that was arrogance or pride, but whatever it was, or hope. But at least you can imagine what it might have been like to have been in that group. In 1905, a young attorney, Paul Harris, had founded the Rotary movement. Fort Worth was one of the first cities in Texas to have a Rotary club, and they, in true Rotary spirit, reached out to this group of men in Arlington and said, "Why don't you become a Rotary club?" And it seemed like an idea that would work, and that's how we got started.
Sam Wine, who for many years was the manager of the Texas Electric Company here, was the first president of the club, and he served in the club. He was still a member of the club when I joined in '46, and he was very, very strong. Then he had an understudy, Reeford Houston, who also became Mr. Rotary as far as Arlington, was our secretary for many years, and was an authority on matters of Rotary, and would always look to give us an answer to problems that we might have.
The first major community program was to spark plug the establishment and completion of Meadowbrook Park, our first municipal park. 9-hole golf course, lovely part of our town. And later it became the site for the annual Rotary Lions golf match. Ross Wimbish was the superintendent of schools, and he was Rotary president in 1946 when George Hawks came to town as the young editor of the Arlington Citizen. Dr. Zach Bobo was the next president, and along with Duncan Robinson of the English department at North Texas Agricultural College, started the Hubcap. Duncan was the editor, and later George Hawks became the managing editor and printer-mailer as it was produced in the Arlington Citizen shop. It cost a lot of money to print the Hubcap, and so each week a different Rotarian would take out an ad, paid $5 a week to do that. So for 27 years, George Hawks, even when he served as president in the early 50s, printed the Hubcap on Tuesdays, delivered it to the post office, and it was in the hands of Rotary members Wednesday morning before that week's meeting. Now, when I heard George tell this the other day at Rotary, I kind of felt like he was bragging. Get it in, get it out. That's George. Duncan Robinson was a clever writer, and a lot of others outside of the Rotary membership delighted in getting hold of the Hubcap. These men, along with others, made up the establishment table in our club for many years. You sat there at great risk if you didn't belong. It was also Duncan Robinson who instituted the annual presentation of the Dickens A Christmas Carol as our pre-Christmas program. It started in about 1948 when the scheduled program didn't show, and Duncan was drafted to bring a program. His rendition, with the help of the book, was interspersed with local characters and remarks about his fellow college administrators. It was a hit, and year after year he was called on to repeat it, which he did without the book. On his death, Stone Reisinger, who was our president in 1980-81, district governor in 1983 and 84, picked up the torch, and he has, for the last 14 years, done the Christmas Carol by memory, and he's done it magnificently.
Rotary, to me, is expanding all of the time on the international scene, doing more and more things to achieve its goal of building friendship and understanding and peace in the world. But it's also doing it on local levels. And the web school project of our club is the most ambitious project, and one that to me is right down the line of making a difference in our community, making a difference in the world. And I hope that every Rotarian will do what he can to help us achieve that goal and to help Rotary achieve its goals of understanding and fellowship, friendship, and peace in the world. I'm really convinced that it's people not knowing each other that is the biggest impediment to understanding and peace in the world. If we really knew and understood their cultures and their lifestyle and what they want and need in life, being so much like what we want and need, that we surely could bring peace a little closer in a world that is so fraught with danger and misunderstanding and enmity and things that we don't even like to think about. That's kind of what Rotary means to me, and I'm proud to be linked with an organization that is so worthy of our very best. And I wish, for whatever I've done for Rotary, it has done more for me than I have for Rotary, and I wish I could have done more.
J.T. Happy King, longtime real estate insurance man, has been a member longer than anyone in our club. He joined the club on March 1st, 1936. He was 21 years old. I think you might say he was a comer. 7 years later, he was elected president at age 29. And as of March 1st this year, chalked up 62 years of Rotary membership.
I joined the Arlington Rotary Club in 1936, and that's 62 years, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. I feel like the club has made me a better man, because I have tried to live up to their motto, and if you do that, you have to be somewhat better man.
George Hawks has the second longest membership in our club, 52 years this October.
I've enjoyed being a member of the club, and I look forward to still continuing. I look forward to meeting my fellows on Thursday at noon when we come down and meet, and we have a good time together. We have a lot of social events that the club sponsors, and we have a lot of fun and foolishness, but the major part of our club is service above self, which is our Rotary motto.
Our oldest member is Bob Jones, Robert Jones, who celebrated birthday number 104. It's a long time. The First United Methodist Church has been our host for over 67 years. The mission ladies of the church have long served the Thursday noon lunch with their homemade pies as the crowning achievement of the home-cooked meals, which have long made our club a favorite makeup spot for visiting Rotarians. Kenny Hart's mother, Thora Hart, for over 30 years took our money for the meals, and it was always less than it could have been. The meals were always more than we had a right to expect. And I got word this evening that Mrs. Thora Hart passed away yesterday at noon, and we remember her with gratitude. And Kenny, you are in our prayers. In the old days, there was a lot of story swapping and pie swapping at weekly meetings, especially if the scheduled program didn't show up. Some of the fellows, led by Uncle Tom Cravens, got a plaster Paris bull from a traveling carnival, and when the stories got rather deep or the program stretched the truth a bit, Tom would retrieve the bull from a nearby shelf and place it in front of the guilty party. Another sacred icon of the old days was the golden spittoon, a badly crushed barroom specimen painted gold and mounted on a marble base. I think it was the workmanship of Rusty DeJulio and friends. It became the property for a year of the club who won the annual Rotary Lion golf match at Meadowbrook Park. For several years now it has been lost. Probably some lions stole it since they didn't often win it. One of Rotary's early community-sponsored programs was the launching of a summer baseball youth program. As a result, several neighborhood parks, such as the present Center Park were donated to the city by individuals. Zeke Wildman, who himself was once a promising baseball professional, helped head up the program and later became president of our club in 1954 and 5.
Dr. Bobo and Duncan Robinson and Slim Betzel and Curtis Mathis used to go out and play golf every Thursday afternoon after the Rotary Club meeting was over. And I think a lot of the ideas that were spawned during that time were actually spawned on Meadowbrook Golf Course when they were playing the 9 holes. And George Hawks had referred to the Center Park, and my best recollection is that Mr. Cook, my grandfather, told me, in fact, I'll just call him Cookie because that's what I called him. He told me that they had the idea for a park for the Little League teams in Arlington, but they really didn't know exactly where to get the property, and so they discussed it quite a bit. And the best of my recollection is that they knew Mr. Center, and I think Zach Bobo may have gone to Mr. Center and convinced him it'd be a good idea to make a contribution of the land so that the kids could play the Little League. At least that's the best recollection that I have of that story.
Mrs. Lon Samuels was the first sweetheart pianist of our club, accompanying her husband who loved to lead the singing. She was followed by Anna Winnette Smith in 1948. And it was at the weekly meetings that Anna Winnette and young Mayor Tom Vandegrift enjoyed fellowship. Tom, what would you have done if she had sung that song that Miss Texas sang tonight? And you ended up being our first newlywed couple out of the Rotary Club. And Tom has held the titles of mayor, congressman, and now county judge. We are proud, too, that he was president of Rotary Club 1957-58.
Unaccustomed as I am. No, I've been running off of the mouth for such a long time, but one of the most important moments in my life was joining this Rotary Club. I was 21 years old, fresh out of college, fell in love promptly with the club sweetheart, hurried up my request for her to marry me because, frankly, there were some other Rotarians eyeing her too. But it's just one of many reasons, that joy, that I treasure the decision to join Rotary. What a tremendous service it has been, this Rotary Club, to our community. I am so honored to have this distinction tonight, but most of all, I'm honored that I had the good fortune to join the Arlington Rotary Club all those many years ago. Thank you very much indeed.
Kay Ellen Hawks Goodyear was the pianist for the club, and then Lena Faye Green has been for many years ably supported by Kathleen Smith and Jane Ellis when she can't be there. We appreciate these ladies.
Another one of our programs the club has had for many years has been the student recognition program for the 6th graders, the 9th graders, and now it's really the 8th graders because the 9th grade is now going into high school. 8th graders and then the seniors, the graduating seniors in high schools. A plaque award is given to the outstanding boy and girl selected by the faculty from each of the elementary schools. This has become a very coveted award. It is the last award that's given on Student Recognition Day, which means it's probably the most prominent award that we give. That also applies to junior high now. When they're leaving junior high, there's 2 of them selected on the basis of leadership, citizenship, and scholarship.
The high school winners given a cash scholarship to the University of Texas at Arlington, and the honor of being the Rotary Award winner is now one of the school year's highest honors. The awards program this year under the chairmanship of Peter Scott is a monumental task with engraved plaques given the recipient at 42 grade schools and 17 junior highs. Our club has had a part in the spread of Rotary. We sponsored the Great Southwest Club and the Hearst Euless Club, and Gene Nowlin led the efforts to help establish the other 4 local clubs and the Mansfield Club. And I'd like to ask every Rotarian from any of the clubs that we helped to start, we're glad you're here as our guest, I'd like for you to stand now and let us say how proud we are that you're part of who we are. Would you stand, men and women? During the tenure of Dr. E.H. Herford, who was president of the Arlington State College, we learned to recognize him by his black Homburg hat and his red rose, fresh rose in his lapel. He became our first district governor from our club in 1952, and later we've had 3 other district governors, Stone Reisinger, Hugh Ross, and Don Mabus. We've already heard about them. Don Mabus was our first third-generation Rotarian, son of Jerry Mabus, grandson of Bob Cook, all of whom served as president of our club.
I was the club president, my father was the club president, and my grandfather was the club president, and I believe that was the first time in this club's history that it happened. Well, speaking of 1989, just prior to becoming president, I did have a Rotary moment, I like to think of it. Had the opportunity the club was kind enough to fund my way to go to Seoul, Korea, to the Rotary International Convention. And I think that's where I really began to see how Rotary International worked, came together, and got a feel for the organization. It really focused my attention on the organization, gave me the kickstart I needed to be the Rotary Club president for that year. But most importantly, I think at that time I really learned how Rotary International is genuinely international. I'll never forget, and this is that moment, that specific moment I'll never forget, standing there among a group of people that I didn't know. There was 38,000 people at this convention, and most of them I had never met and never will meet. But we all stood there, different cultures, different people, and we all stood there and we held hands together and we sang, "Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me." And I knew right then, that very moment, that this was the organization that is going to benefit not only our communities, but really the world over. And it has gone on to do very much of that with the Polio Plus program.
The Bondurant clan has furnished a third-generation member in Rick, who's been our president. His father, Fred Jr., was president, and his grandfather was one of the earliest members, Fred Sr. Our club membership presently hovers around 163, making us the second largest club in the 5790 district of 63 clubs. Only downtown Fort Worth has more members. Rotary International's decision to open membership to women has seen an ever-growing number of capable women business executives added to the roles who are giving excellent leadership to many phases of our work. We welcome them and we salute them for their fine contributions. Mary Jean Maloney was our first woman Rotarian, and Kendall Cravens Nichols was the first Rotarian in the history of our club to give birth. Davis Nichols is his name. The contributions of the Rotary Club of Arlington, known as the Downtown Club, to our growing city have been legion. For many years, the town's leadership has been from among our members, and both the city and our club have benefited.
My grandfather, Mr. Cook, brought my father, Jerry Mabus, into the club, and that was in 1957. At the time, Mayor Tom Vandergriff was the president of the club. And there was a little bit of a concern in the club at that time because, again, best my recollection is that all of the members of the city council were members of the Rotary Club at the time. And there was some concern that the press might think that they were having council meetings there at the Rotary Club. But we probably could defer to Mr. Hawks about that too and find out more about that.
From the beginning of the Paul Harris Fellow Awards, our club has led our district in Paul Harris Awards to Rotarians, family members, and worthy community individuals we wish to honor.
The first one in our club was in Reeford, Houston. but I believe, if I remember right, it was given to him by the district. And that was a strange sort of thing nobody here knew much about. But it began to grow slowly, and then Dwight Miller got it by the tail, and if I remember, his slogan was 52 and 82. He was going to get 52 Paul Harris Fellows by the time the International Convention met here in 82. Well, everybody said that was impossible. That was a goal clear out of sight. But he didn't know any better than to do it. And we reached that goal. And Rotary in general, and I think our club in particular, began to feel what it was to be a part of Rotary International.
The Rotary Foundation's program to eradicate polio throughout the world, and the programs to encourage student and group exchanges has benefited from each $1,000 gift. We have given over $300,000 from our club.
To really put the cap on that was the Polio Plus program, which had been begun in the 3H program a little earlier, and then had really taken on this ambitious project of making the world safe from polio. And I don't think that had ever been heard of before, that a club, a service club, would have a vital part in ridding the world of a disease that was causing so much loss of life, and worse, loss of usefulness of life, as polio was doing in the third world countries of the world. Our goal, if I remember, was $100,000 to be raised by our club for Polio Plus, and we accomplished that goal through the efforts of a whole lot of people in our club. And Rotary accomplished that goal, and I happened to be have my way paid to the International Convention in Philadelphia, at which time they announced the achievement of that goal by Rotary International. Of course, many more milestones have been added since then, but that was a thrilling moment for me.
Our largest and current undertaking as a club and individual members is the ongoing Web School project. I don't suppose we've ever done anything that more of us take great pride and sense gratitude for than this project. Never in club history has a project of such magnitude been undertaken, and the members' response has been and is outstanding. Wade McCoy talked to Barney Myers, who was our president in 1993, about the needs at the Webb School. And Wally Burnt was asked to spearhead it, and he began, and then a year later John Houston took over the leadership of this program, and really it's been John Houston who, by his determination and his great sense of commitment, has led the way for all of us. There are too many who are serving to list them all, but I would like to do this. All of us have helped because we all give money, and our dues help to make it happen. But if you have gone to the Webb School on site and helped to make a difference there, I'd like for all of you Rotarians who have been hands-on involved with the Webb School project to stand and let the rest of us salute you.
It's my honor tonight to be able to represent the Arlington Rotary Foundation. Thanks to some visionaries a few years back, this program is off and running, and I was one of those that said it'll never happen. We now have it rolling, and it needs to continue to roll. thanks to a very generous gift from one of our anonymous donors in our club, and we have a lot of anonymous people in our club, but not very many of them are generous and donate things.
Wait a minute.
This chap, you don't know a whole lot about his background, and I don't think we'll ever find out. But he was born of poor parents, started out the hard way, and has been a very, very successful businessman, and really knows how to make money. There's others in this room like this, but this gentleman loves kids and loves to give his money away, and we're very happy to take it. and the foundation has an award that's called the Humanitarian Award, and thanks to this anonymous donor, we have 3 new Humanitarian Award winners tonight that I'd like to bring up, and as they're coming up, I'll talk a little bit more about the program. But our new humanitarian winners are Jim Livesey, Jack Corliss. Jack is, for those of you who aren't really active in the club, Jack usually is outside when the meetings are going on, so if someone to stick their head out and see if Jack's out there, really and truly, he probably is. And Bubba Welch. Bubba, you're here. Come on, Bubba. Jack's wife is very ill and in the hospital, so he may have left to be with her. Let's keep it a secret that Jack's getting this.
Okay. I'll bet.
As President Jim presents those, let me tell you a little bit about what this money will go towards. It'll go towards the Webb Scholarship Fund, and it will go towards, some of this money will go towards Camp Grady Spruce. Camp Grady Spruce, these kids are at Possum Kingdom Lake at Camp Grady Spruce for a week, and for many of them, it's the first week in their life that they will know a week without sexual abuse, without drug abuse, without the police lights flashing outside their apartment. They will know what it's like to go to bed with a full stomach. They will know what it's like to wake up in the morning happy and safe. They will know what it's like to work with others and learn to get along. And this group sends 120 kids, 5th graders, every one of them, to Camp Grady Spruce. It's a life-changing experience, and I'm proud to say that it's a very wonderful success. The scholarships, each child that graduates from Webb School as a 6th grader knows that if they want to go and if they're capable of going, we will pay $1,500 a year for their education. It can be a university, it can be Stanford, it can be TCJC, it can be a trade school. They know that they can do with their life what they want to. And Jim, Bubba, thanks to you, this money is possible. As you look at your plaques on your desk, you can be assured that you have given these kids one of the most wonderful gifts a child can receive, and that's the gift of hope.
Well, it's my distinct honor and personal privilege to present this award, and I'm going to go out of order here because the distinguished Rotarian recipient is not here tonight, so I'm going to keep that one a secret. Ask all of you to do so also. But I'm going to present the Rotarian of the Year. This is an annual award that this club has given for many years now to honor a Rotarian from our club who has served the club in an outstanding manner over the past year. Past recipients have served the club in a variety of ways, but I'm sure when you find out who this is, you'll agree that this individual has given to our club a great deal for every year that he's been a member. This is a young Rotarian, not been a member for a great number of years, but every year that he has been here, he's become more visible and more outgoing and has served Rotary and the community more and more every year. He's not quiet by nature. I can't keep this a secret any longer. I'm trying to work it down to where you, by elimination, you might guess who it is. But I would like Rotarian Brett Hall to come forward.
It is a true honor for me to be able to even accept the award. I feel like that I'm the most blessed guy in this room. Having each of you as my friends and being able to ask you to get involved on some wild notions that I sometimes have that we hope turn out for the best of all concerned. I want to thank, first of all, I want to thank the Lord. He's given me everything I've needed, and that's a blessing. And also I want to thank Tom Cravens for sponsoring me into the club, and that does mean a lot to me. I want to thank my wife, and her support is outstanding. And I want to thank my family, but most of all I want to say to y'all, I appreciate the opportunity to serve the club and to do some of the things that hopefully can make us all happy and proud, and as the Arlington Rotary Club stand tall in the community and in the world. Thank you.
It's an honor and privilege to be here at this celebration. 7.5 decades. That's tremendous. Paul, is it true, Paul, that you tried to be a charter member and they turned you down? I think Sam Wine was good. But it is a wonderful occasion. It's just been great, the reception, and just think we've got 3 international directors here, and that's something. They only get that many together when they have a board meeting. So anyway, we're pleased that you're here, and the Arlington Club is so wonderful. And Brent was the first person I met, came when I visited the Arlington Club one time, and I'm proud for you, Brent. It's wonderful. I'm so happy for you and for the club that you're in Rotary. As I travel around, I have actually been on the job 3 weeks, I guess, and I'm already looking forward to being a past district governor. But I really, as I travel around, I go to these different clubs, and there's old Bud McLean. He's from Crowell, way out in West. I was there Wednesday, and we had a wonderful lunch in Crowell and visit. And, you know, you kind of read these clubs to see their capabilities and intellect and what and I kind of do my little speech accordingly. So you all look fairly intelligent today. The Arlington Club, I know, is. So if you would open your programs to this little section, it's right opposite the agenda and the program. There's 3 things I want you to remember when I sit down. One is the name of our international president, Jim Lacey. Say that after me, Jim Lacey. And his lovely wife, Claudine. Claudine. Now, the theme for this year is Follow Your Rotary Dream, all right? Follow your Rotary dream. President Jim Lacey.
Please don't stop. Governor said, I appreciate that introduction very much. It's much better than one I received one night. The fellow got up and said, I've never seen this man before in my life. If he's good, let's hear him. If he's not, let's get it over with. Back when I was district governor, I used to go around to the clubs rather early to see what sort of programs and talk to some of the members and all before the meeting started. And one of the second or third club I think I went to, this lady came in and said, Governor Lacey said, "Are you nervous today?" And I said, "No, I'm not nervous. Why?" And she said, "Well, then why are you in the ladies' restroom?" Another time I used to ask them, I said, "What kind of programs do you have in this club?" And this young fellow I saw, and he said, "We usually have really good programs, but said today you really picked a dud. The district governor's here." I enjoy speaking to Rotary clubs and especially ladies' nights. And I've spoken to several. One night I spoke to a ladies' night, and we were coming out afterward, and this could have even been a week or so ago here in Texas maybe, but this lady was talking, and she said, "Wasn't that a wonderful speech that he gave?" Said, "I could have listened to him for another hour." And her husband said, "Yes, but 30 minutes of rain would have done us a lot more good." Another night they were all lined up, and I thought I'd given the best speech I'd ever given in my life. And they were all lined up in front, and they were coming up and saying what an excellent speech it was. And it was good, I would admit it, even though I'm bashful. But this fellow came up and he looked up and said, "Mr. Lacey, that's the worst speech I ever heard in my life." Well, I didn't think too much about it because everybody else was bragging on it. So in a minute, I saw him get in line again. And he came up and he said, "I wanted to make sure you understood what I said. That was the worst speech I ever heard." The lady next to him, though, said, "Mr. Lacey, please don't pay any attention to George. He just hears what other people says and goes around repeating it." Claudine and I would certainly like to thank all of you for your warm welcome and your most gracious hospitality. You met us at the airport today, and we came into this beautiful suite in this hotel and had lunch already on the table, which Don and Carolyn, that was wonderful, and had the beautiful flowers and the beautiful fruit basket. And Claudine's trying to get me to quit eating so much, and I just continue to get all these good things all the time, but I struggle, and I did eat some of the fruit, but that was about all she'd let me have. But we really enjoyed our visit to Webb School. I thought that was a real honor and a privilege for both of us. I think you are to be congratulated on all that you do for all of the community of Arlington. But I think that really stood out. And Jim was telling you, or someone was talking about Jim's letter to me when he invited me to come. And you can imagine how many invitations the president of Rotary International get. And I always ask my executive assistant, Raina Diamond, I say, "I want to see every one of them that comes in." Well, don't let somebody tell you that something unique will not catch your eye sometimes. And Jim wrote this letter, and he said, well, first of all, said, "We're both Jims." And he said, I think that ought to be at least a plus. And he said, "We both have connections in Tennessee." Well, I was really getting interested then. And when he started talking about the Webb School and what they were doing for youth in the community, I laid that aside and told Raina, I said, "Raina, let's see if we can work this in on one of our, between some of our other visits, because I would like to go out there and see this project and celebrate this 75th anniversary with the Arlington Rotary Club." So I would congratulate you all on all that you've done. This 75-year history was magnificent. I think that I just congratulate you, and you are to be commended because you have truly been what Rotary represents in a community, and that's fully a part of the community and one that does many things for the community. I was telling the mayor how much I enjoyed his city. I think it's a beautiful place. I didn't get lost to time today, and Don didn't either when he was driving us around. But like all cities, it seems as though you were having some construction around the city. Right around the hotel. And so we did try to miss all the construction spots, and we were able to take care of everything. But I would congratulate you on the wonderful job that you all do in the city here. I have 6. I usually give away 3 of each of these awards, and I would like to give these away, and I'll try to be as brief as I can but I think they're really awards that the president of Rotary really feels is excellent. And I ask your community and your clubs who these awardees should be. So, and these are my first, by the way, to give away this year. So I would like to make 3 awards, and in this award and certificate it says, Rotary International recognizes with deep appreciation the outstanding efforts and commitment to service shown by Rotarian, and I would like to see if Philip Stark is here. Is Philip here?
I'm honored to receive it.
Thank you for all that you do. The same award again for Rotary International recognizes with deep appreciation the outstanding efforts and commitment to service shown by Rotarian Barney Meyer. Barney? Rotary International recognizes with deep appreciation the outstanding efforts and commitment to service shown by Rotarian Tom Cravens. These next 3 awards are particularly close to my heart because they are for children, and it's service to children. And on this award it says Rotary International recognizes with deep appreciation the outstanding commitment to children shown by, and the awardee, one of them tonight, is John Houston. Yeah. Thank you. Rotary International recognizes with deep appreciation the outstanding commitment to children shown by Bobby Lane. And Rotary International recognizes with deep appreciation the outstanding commitment to children shown by Roger Stiles.
All right.
I would congratulate all 6 of these awardees. I think they're examples of, again, what Rotary is all about, what service above self is all about. My Rotary friends and my Rotary family, it's wonderful for Claudine and I to be here this evening to share Rotary with you. I consider all of us to be a very special family. We have different roles and experiences in Rotary, but we are bound by a common trait, a commitment to service. We wear a Rotary pin. We attend club meetings every week. We have joined in club activities and carried out community projects. Through Rotary, we have gained an appreciation for the world's many peoples and cultures. But the bottom line is, we share a passion for service, a desire to reach out to those in need, a desire to heal the sick, to comfort the elderly, to educate a child, and to create conditions for goodwill, understanding, and peace. I think it is important each and every time we meet, whatever the occasion, at whatever level, to reaffirm our commitment to Rotary's ideals so that we go away recharged, ready to tackle any new assignment. By getting together and discussing plans and reminding ourselves why we are Rotarians, we fuel our desire to serve, and we become inspired to dream even greater dreams. Dreams are what unite us, what propel us to serve. Rotarians have done, are doing, and will do great things because we dare to dream. The poet Carl Sandburg stated, "Nothing happens unless first a dream." Without a dream, the first Rotary Club would never have been established in Chicago in 1905. Without a dream, the Rotary Foundation would not have been created 12 years later by the visionary President Arch Klump. There would be no scholarship programs to stimulate young minds and send ambassadors of peace between troubled nations. There would be no life-saving matching grants projects or life-changing group study exchange teams. Without a dream, Rotary would never have found new life in Russia after being thwarted by communism for more than half a century. Without a dream, more than 1 billion children might never have been spared the pain of the crippling disease, polio. I served as a national coordinator of Polio Plus. I worked on major gifts. Back in 1988, when I was traveling the country, I was asked to come to a place in Clarksdale, Mississippi, to make some calls on major donors. The governor and I made 3 that day, and he said, when we finished, he said, "Jim, there's a lady that would like to meet you." And I thought to myself, here's a possible 4th today. So we went to this lady's home, and in Clarksdale, Mississippi, beautiful white clapboard shingled house, sitting back in the moss-covered trees. Went up and knocked on the door, and a lady came to the door and said, "Money Luckett is expecting you all." Said, "Go down the hall, and she is the second door on the left." So I went down the hall, followed by the governor. I turned to my left, and immediately on my right-hand side, I saw an iron lung. The next thing I remember is this beautiful voice from the left-hand side of the room, and this lady said, "Mr. Lacey, please come in." Her name was Money Luckett. Money wanted to tell me that she appreciated what Rotary was doing for children of the world. She was lying in the left-hand side of the room in a hospital bed. And she said, "Mr. Lacey, for every night for the past 37 years I have spent in that iron lung. I have not been outside this home in 37 years. I just wanted you to tell Rotary what they are doing for children is wonderful." She had such a wonderful outlook on life. She was an inspiration to me all during the Polio Plus project. Every time she would see something about polio or poliomyelitis, she would write a note and say, "Rotary, keep up the good work." She was so inspiring that Claudine and I decided about 2 years ago to make her a Paul Harris Fellow. She wrote a wonderful letter and said, Mr. Lacey, I thank you for the Paul Harris Fellowship, you and Mrs. Lacey. It's the first thing that I have received in 37 years. But I'm not proud of what I have received. I am proud for what the money will be used for, because I know that it will be used to help children. Money Luckett passed away last year, a year ago this July. But I know when we celebrate in 2005 the eradication of polio from the face of the earth, she will be up there saying still, Rotary, thank you, thank you, thank you. Another personal experience I had with polio is I attended one of the national immunization days in India in January a year ago. We got up at 5 o'clock that morning and went to the health minister's home in New Delhi, India. We left then and went to the worst slums you could imagine. We worked there until past 4:30 that afternoon, giving vaccine to children. I never saw as many children in all my life, because about every 10 blocks they had a little substation where they were giving vaccine. And any of you that saw the Rotarian magazine would have seen me giving drops to a one-day-old child and the grandmother standing there by us. She didn't speak my language, but I knew that she was thanking Rotary and thanking us, because she knew that her grandchild would grow up without having the dreaded disease, polio, because Rotary was helping him. It's things like that that I wished every Rotarian in this room could experience, because they make a difference in your life, I can assure you. They keep that fire burning for us to want to do things for others. And that's why my program this year is for children. Yet as many as Rotary dreams are, they are also solidly grounded in reality. Rotarians, perhaps better than anyone else, knows that it takes hard work and perseverance to reach a goal. Rotarians are achievers who join our hearts and our hands to accomplish the task we set out for ourselves. In more than 29,000 clubs worldwide, we are caring and committed members of our communities, able to make a difference in people's lives through our expertise and our actions. We identify community needs. We find innovative solutions. We contribute time and money. We organize groups. We take the lead in doing what must be done to improve the quality of life for those in need. That is why I am so proud to be a Rotarian. On any given day, anywhere in the world, a need is met. A dream is realized, all because of Rotary and Rotarians just as you are. But our work is never done. It is up to us to meet new needs and fulfill new dreams for those less fortunate. I have a very special dream this next year, a dream which I refer to often. This dream is for the children of our global family. Children are society's most vulnerable group, and they are in urgent need of our attention. It is children who are the most susceptible to the ravages of poverty and hunger. It is children who sustain the deepest wounds from abuse and neglect. And yet it is children who have the least recourse to improve their conditions. Statistics show that every minute 50 babies are born into abject poverty, facing a life of chronic malnutrition, sickness, and stunted development. Even worse, 34,000 children around the world die each day from hunger and preventable diseases. Other young people are thrust into hard labor at an early age to support their families. They are easily exploited, both financially and physically. In desperate situations, children are abandoned by their mothers and fathers who can no longer feed or house them. A staggering 100 million children roam the streets of the world every night, alone and struggling just to survive. That should be unacceptable to a civilized society. It is left up to us as Rotarians to find ways to combat these things. But these street children are alive. They are human beings with hopes and dreams just like you and me. The pain and resilience of these children are well expressed in the following poem called No Roof Over the Streets, written by a past district governor from Turkey. I am a street child. I am a citizen of the world. I can become a man for mankind. I can become a parent of an innocent baby. I have dreams. I need a home, hope, love, food, education, and health. Help me. Give me a hand. I will give you my heart. Your dream will be my reality. Your street is my home. Today is my life. Tomorrow is my dream. What you do and what you dream will be my future. I am a citizen of this nation. I am a citizen of the world. I am the future of peace and humanity. I am the future of this nation and of the world. We must hear the plea of these forgotten children and muster all the resources we can to respond to them. But even children who have homes face an uncertain future. No child in today's world, no matter what their income level, is immune to problems of gang violence, drug and alcohol abuse, broken homes, and political strife. Traditional systems of support are eroding as our society becomes more mobile and family dynamics change. These realities have had a very unsettling effect on the youth of our nation. All too often, children are growing up in situations where they are unable to flourish, crippled if not by disease, by ignorance and neglect. We must use our influence and our expertise to reverse this trend, for children are our greatest hope. To give a child love and security is to change the future. A child who is cared for and protected early on will develop into a healthy, caring adult who will affect others in a positive way. That person will perpetuate love and understanding, breaking the cycle of violence and hatred. We must do all we can to provide children with stability. We must act as families for them when their families are troubled. We must find and form communities for them when they cry out for our support. And if they are on the streets, we must do everything in our power to find them homes. Past Rotary International President Jim Bomar championed the cause of children during his year in office. He asked, "What is the value of one child saved?" No one will ever know. But if the child were our own, the price tag would be marked, "Not for sale." This life is invaluable. I envision a time in which all children's lives are considered invaluable. I ask you and beg you to use your influence in your club and in your community to help my dream for children become reality. Make my dream your dream as well. In Rotary, our imagination and our potential know no bounds. Our power is limitless because we all stand together, united in our ideals and our philosophies on service. We have the unique ability to rise above politics, religion, and other roadblocks on the path to understanding, goodwill, and peace. Peace is our ultimate goal, our most grandiose dream. Mother Teresa said it so simply and succinctly. The fruit of silence is prayer. The fruit of prayer is love. The fruit of love is service. The fruit of service is unity. The fruit of unity is peace. We will not rest until the conditions for a peaceful, loving world are met. And while we must keep our ultimate objectives in mind, we also must remember that the best progress is slow, steady progress. It's easy to become overwhelmed by the magnitude of all of the problems that beset us. But if we continue to do all we can as individuals, our global wounds will begin to heal. Dreams do not bear fruit overnight. We must cultivate them carefully, with our time, our energy, and most of all, with our love. Little by little they grow and they mature until they become a fully blossomed splendor. We dream of a world where everyone enjoys a standard of living with a roof over their heads, clothes to wear, and food to eat. A world in which everyone can read and write. A world in which everyone feels a part of their community. A world that has justice, tolerance, love for everyone, and a world that is at peace. I hope that each of you will have the inspiration and the courage to take risks this year, to challenge yourself and your club to dream new dreams and do whatever it takes to make them come true. This includes continuing to support the programs of Rotary and the Rotary Foundation. Maintaining these programs is critical if we are to cultivate our dreams to fruition. By dreaming and working together, all of us, from international officers to club members, we will build a kinder, more peaceful world. The world we wish to pass on to our children and to all of humanity. With service above self as our guide, let us have the love to share. Let us have the vision to see what is needed. Let us have the wisdom to dream new dreams. And let us have the courage to do whatever it takes to make those dreams come true. Follow your Rotary dream.
The club has had a wonderful 75 years and has prospect of having a long time yet to serve the people of Arlington.